Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to episode 5 of Java for Beginners. Now, in the previous episodes, our programs were pretty straightforward. They just, add a number together and print it to the screen, or ask for somebody's name and just print a hello message to whatever their name was. But what I'm going to teach you today is how to add a little more uniqueness or pizzazz or whatever you want to call it. Basically, the gist of it is we're going to let the computer actually make a decision. So our programs will have variety. That's the word, variety. So first of all, we're going to need the JOption pane again. So you can go ahead and import that right now. Now what we're going to do is we're going to get a number from the user. So we're going to need an int number. We're going to set this equal to JOption pane dot show input dialog. No, that's not what I meant. Okay, here we go. Show input dialog. Okay, now here we're going to say what is your favorite number? So we're going to get a number from the user. But as you will see, there is an error right here because JOption pane will give us a string, but we're trying to put a string into an int, and that does not work. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to write integer dot parseInt right there like that, and we're going to surround the parentheses around this whole thing. So we just need to add one right there and one right there. So now we have a number stored into number. So now we can actually get to the if statement. The if statement is what is going to add that variety I was talking about. So the syntax for the if is the word if, followed by parentheses, followed by curly brackets. Now inside the parentheses is where we make some kind of test. Now the different kinds of tests we can do is, if one number is equal to the other one, if one number is greater than the other one, if it's less than, if it's, less than or equal to, if it's not equal to, there's quite a few. So first of all, we'll just do a simple equals. So now real quick, the single equal sign right here, this equal sign means we are getting a value on the right side and putting it into the variable on the left side. But in the if statement, we're going to do if number double equals 1. Now the double equals means we're comparing it. We're not setting number to be equal 1. We're checking if it already is 1. So we're saying, is it 1? That's basically what we're saying. And if it is, we will do whatever's inside these parentheses. So we're just going to do JOption pane dot show message dialog null, and we'll say, yo, I like the number 1 as well, brother. Just like that. So if you run this real quick, you'll see a message pop up. What's your favorite number? We'll write 3. Click OK. You see nothing happens because 3 is not equal to 1, so it didn't pop up the message. But if we run it again and we write 1, it says the message. Yo, I like the number 1 as well, brother. So that's how we do one test. But what if we want to do multiple tests? Well, what we can do is we write else if number equals 2. So the else if means if this didn't turn out well, if we didn't run this, we're going to try this one. So basically, if this statement wasn't true, let's test this one next. So if the number is 2, we'll do JOption pane dot show message dialog null, and 2 is cool, man. Now we'll run this and we'll see. Now if I enter 2, it says 2 is cool, man. And if I enter 1, like I did earlier, it'll say, yo, I like the number 1. Now we can have a bunch. You have one if statement at the beginning, and then you have many else ifs. So we could do another else if. Here, let me copy this so I don't have to write it every time. We'll do else if 3. We'll say 3 is cool, man. So we can have as many else ifs as we want, but what if we want like a default? Like if they enter a number that's not 1, 2, or 3, let's have a default. So what we write is just simply else. And notice how there's no, on the else, there's no parentheses with a check inside it, because we're just saying if none of these other tests were true, we're just going to do this by default. So that's just for default. We'll print this out and say, we'll just say, never heard of that number before, and then we'll do a sad face. So now if we run this, we'll see we can write 1, you'll like the number 1. If we run it again, we can write 2, 2 is cool. We can write 3, it says 3 is cool. And if we write something that is not 1, 2, or 3, let's write, I don't know, negative 900. It says, never heard of that number before. So that's the basics of the if statement. Now real quick, I'm going to show you some of the other tests, because right now we just have the double equals. So we can do int n equals 45, and we can test if n is greater than 0. So we can do a test like this, and we'll say, let's just print to the console, system.out.println, the test was true. So here we go. We're going to test, is the variable n greater than 0? Well, we set it to 45, so it says the test was true. Let's already make an else real quick. So if the test is not true, we're just going to print out the test was not true. So let's say, is n less than 0? No, the test was not true because 45 is not less than 0. We can do, here, let's set it to equal to 0 right now. You know, as before, we have the double equals. Is n equal to 0? Yes, it is. We can do, is n less than or equal to 0? Which first it checks if it's less than 0. 0 is not less than 0, but then it checks, is it equal to 0? And it is, so it'll say the test was true, because n is less than or equal to 0. So if we did this negative 60 when we run it, it's still true. Now we can also do greater than or equal to 0. So if we run it right now, the test was obviously not true. Let's see, we can also do greater than or equal to 0. So if we set this to 0, it's obviously going to be true because n is 0. It's not greater than 0, but it is equal to 0, so that is still correct. And we can also do if n is not equal to 0. So right now if we run it, it's not true, but if we make it 900, it's going to say the test was true because n is not the same as 0. 900 is not the same as 0, so the test was true. So that's basically, I know I kind of went pretty fast over these, but you'll just kind of catch on as we go along. If you need to, you can rewatch the video. If not, just hold on to your seat. I just kind of, go over it more in detail later on when we're actually making, calculators or other types of programs, tic-tac-toe, stuff like that. You'll actually see it in use. But that about wraps up this video. But before I go, I want to make a quick apology. Recently, I rewatched my old tutorials, and I noticed that there is a lot of annoying background noise in the background. I was not aware of this. I actually didn't have any headphones when I made those videos, so now that I do have headphones, I could actually hear the background noise, and I apologize for that. I'll try not to have that happen again. I'm so used to all the noise that I've just kind of blocked it out, so I don't really notice it, but it's very annoying, I noticed. So, and one more thing to clear up real quick. You might notice in my tutorials I use the word method and function interchangeably, but whenever I say function, I actually mean method. But just because since I've done all different programming languages, I just kind of use interchangeably because, C, C++, they call it function, Java method, C# method, or whatever. So if you're watching these and you're like in Java class or something, we'll put method on the test because that's what I meant to say. But anyways, that about wraps up this video. So thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next episode. And also, if you ever have any questions about any programming questions in general, feel free to send me a message either here on YouTube or on one of my other social networks, and I will try to get back to you. But anyways, have a great day, and I'll see you in the next episode.